Hello there, it's Shepherd Shang here, bringing to you another episode of Abyssalcraft is Kind of Awesome. And in today's episode, we are going over rituals added by the Abyssal Wasteland. Well, added by. That you have available to you once you're in the Abyssal Wasteland, I should say. Now, you'll notice that I'm wearing a different set of armor. In the Armor and Tools episode, I mentioned how there is a suit of armor that, a set of armor that is available to you only by doing rituals. And that is this stuff. This is the depth armor. Depth. So why do I have so much trouble saying that? Okay, and you notice that, the textures sort of change slightly. Or is that possibly just my, perspective? Oh, it definitely looks like it's changing, doesn't it? It's interesting. So, let's get a look at it. This is what it looks like from the front, and what it looks like from the back. Strange looking, isn't it? Now, there is one important thing to keep in mind with this armor, and that is, I'm in F1 mode where I've got all the stuff hidden. So if I go back to it where the test hotbar, whatever the heck you call it, is normally visible, you get this. Yeah. This is a visual effect that comes from wearing this set of armor. And you can't really do anything about it. So yeah, it's a good set of armor, but it's... yeah, this is sort of annoying, I gotta admit. Yeah, so let's look at what it does. So, this set of armor gives you permanent night vision, permanent speed, saturation, jump boost 2, resistance, and water breathing. And of course, it is as good as diamond. Now, if you're using Abyssalcraft integration, if you're running Thaumcraft, it also gives you a Viz discount. Not important if you don't run Thaumcraft with the integration, but yeah, that's something extra available for you. Now then, let's take off the helmet. Yeah. So the helmet is the item that gives you the night vision, the saturation, and the water breathing, by the way. Now, oh hey, you're gonna see what this place looks like without night vision on in a second. Yes, you notice how everything was green? Now it's blue. For some reason. With some greens on the edges. Not quite sure why exactly, but, you know, whatever. So anyway, how do you make them? So, we've got the ritual set up. And here we have it. In the center, for the Visage of the Depths, you need a refined corallium helmet, 2 corallium gem clusters, maximum size, bucket of liquid corallium, some vines, which you'll need shears for, lily pad, transmutation gem, which you get through rituals, and a corallium plagued flesh. It requires 300 PE, and very important for this one, you can only do this ritual in the Abyssal Wasteland. If you try to do it in another dimension, it won't work. But yeah, it gives you the Visage of the Depths. There's what full set, and this one is for the chestplate of the Depths. And you'll notice that it is basically the same thing, just with refined crown chestplate in the center. Even costs the same thing, and again, it requires you be in the Abyssal Wasteland. And the same is true of the pants, leg guards it's called, of the Depths, and of the boots of the Depths. Yeah. The rituals for them are exactly the same, except for the piece of armor in the center. They all use 300 PE, and they all can only be done in the Abyssal Wasteland. Yeah, I mentioned in the original ritual video that certain rituals can only be done in specific dimensions. Yeah. This is the first real example of that. Now this ritual is to get the Abyssal Wasteland energy pedestal. Again, it's basically an upgraded version of the energy pedestal that specifically works in the Abyssal Wasteland. Now, in this case, you upgrade it from an overworld energy pedestal rather than just a normal energy pedestal. You need 2 shadow gem shards, 2 corallium gems, 2 corallium bricks. Okay, I should clarify this because of that naming thing. You need 2 corallium brick blocks, not just bricks, and 2 abyssal stone bricks. It costs you 800 PE, but you can do this ritual in any dimension. So you can go ahead and do it back in the overworld if you're retrieving the overworld energy pedestal, I guess. Yeah. And of course there is a version of their... Go away. I'm creative. For the sacrificial altar. This is the Abyssal Wasteland sacrificial altar. Again, it's basically exactly the same as that one, just an overworld sacrificial altar in the center. Yeah. Same PE and everything. God, you all are annoying. Okay, so here's another ritual. This is the Corallium Plague Infection. If you remember that antimatter eradication ritual from the first ritual video, this is basically the same thing, except it gives anything nearby the Corallium Plague. So you need gunpowder, 3 water bottles, and 4 Corallium Plague flesh. You don't put anything in the center, and there is no product because it is not a crafting ritual. It costs 300 PE, and this can be done anywhere. Now, something I should mention, as far as I know, there is no special requirement for these rituals. It's not like you cannot do them before you know how. And what I mean is that the information for these rituals appear once you have the Abyssal Wasteland Necronomicon. They show up in this special Abyssal Wasteland tab for it. You could technically do this stuff before you get the Abyssal Wasteland Necronomicon, as far as I am aware. The only exception, of course, is the stuff that specifically requires you be in the Abyssal Wasteland. Yeah. So you could do this in the overworld with a normal Necronomicon before you come to the Abyssal Wasteland, as far as I know. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, please tell me. I would like to know. Okay, so now we're gonna get to some of the a new type of ritual. This is the Ritual of the Sleeper, and this is the first of the summoning rituals. What are the summoning rituals? The summoning rituals... Actually, now that I think about it, I think there are only 2 of them in Abyssalcraft in its current iteration. It's the Ritual of the Sleeper and the Ritual of Shadows. So summoning rituals is basically how you can fight bosses. Yes. Abyssalcraft also adds a couple of different bosses. And in this case, the Ritual of the Sleeper summons a special boss specifically for the Abyssal Wasteland. This ritual can only be done in the Abyssal Wasteland, and it costs 1000 PE. You'd put nothing in the center. It uses 4 gold ingots, I should say, a transmutation gem, a corallium bucket, and an enchantment table. And what this does is it summons Asura the Fallen. Asura the Fallen is the first, and I use that term somewhat correctly, the first boss of Abyssalcraft, which you will then fight or die. Yes. Now, this one is the Ritual of Shadows. Do you remember the ODB core from the item ritual? The item episode from the overworld? Yeah, this is the first one of the couple of things it can be used for. This is the Ritual of Shadows. You can use this ritual anywhere, and it costs 1000 PE. It's not specific. This one's the ODB core. You need the Oblivion Catalyst, a bucket of liquid corallium, and a bucket of liquid antimatter, and 4 obsidian. And this one summons Sackthought. Oh, darn it. Okay, it summons Sackthought, Harbinger of Doom. It was that Harbinger word that was throwing me off there. I keep wanting to say Harbinger. Yeah, it's an old-fashioned word. Very Lovecraft, that one. So, Sackthought, Bringer of Doom, is something a little bit different as far as bosses go. He's gonna get his own video, because Asura is also gonna get his own video, but Sackthought is a little bit different, I'll say. A little bit more complicated, a little bit more versatile. I'll get into it when I do this video. Yeah. And this is the final ritual added. I keep going back to that. You get access to once you're in the Abyssal Wasteland. You'll notice that there weren't a whole lot of rituals. Yeah. So again, the first thing you get from the normal Necronomicon is the basics, and you're just building on that. And this is the upgrade to the Gateway Key, which brought you to this dimension. It requires the Transmutation Gem, an item called the Dreadlands Infused Power Stone, which I believe I am getting into in the next video. It might not be the next video. How was I scheduling? 3 videos from now, I think. I'll get there. You'll get there. You can look it up somewhere else in the meantime. It doesn't matter. And this item, Eye of the Abyss, which you get by killing Asura. And you put it in the Gateway Key in the center. It requires 3000 PE and it can only be done in the Abyssal Wasteland, and it creates Asura's dreaded Gateway Key, which leads to the next dimension. And that's it. Again, there were not very many rituals. You know, I say that, but isn't this actually more rituals than the first dimension? I mean, this added 10, and the other one only was like 9? I think I may be messing up my own information. Darn! Not like I haven't done that plenty of times in this tutorial before, huh? Yeah. Okay, yeah. One other thing. I almost forgot this part. So, again, you can set up, the, ritual setup for this, I am so tongue-tied. The ritual setup for the Abyssal Wasteland. Once you've gotten here, you'll have the materials to make this. You can use abyssal stone bricks or the corallium brick blocks to make these, to make the ritual setup, whatever you want to call it. This is what it looks like when it's made of the corallium brick blocks. And this is the Abyssal Wasteland energy pedestal. Yeah. Again, it's same mechanics as it was in the overworld. You do everything right, it works. You do something wrong, it just sort of consumes all your items. Yeah. Okay. I think at this point I've rambled on long enough. Had my voice crack a few times, had the darn mine spiders show up. Ugh. And been plenty confusing. And confused for all of us. This was Shepherd Chong. Hopefully I didn't confuse you. And this episode of Abyssalcraft was kind of awesome. Goodbye.